What is going on, y'all? It is your boy Ollie Footy, man. What a day of Champions League football. Oh my goodness, man. Now I gotta start off with a little bit of a sorry because I didn't put up those prediction videos, unfortunately. But that's all right. We'll make more predictions for the second leg. But yeah, man, no one could have predicted what happened in this UCL today. Let's take a look, bro. Galatasaray 1-0. Now, I didn't think they were gonna get this job done. I thought Liverpool were gonna put B2A. You feel me? Like straight work on Galatasaray, but hey man, it's tough to play in Turkey. It's tough to play in Turkey. It really is. And you know, it's it's weird because when I watch this game, Liverpool should have scored like two or three, especially in the beginning. They were pressing very well and they had a lot of opportunities and they just overplayed it constantly. Constantly. It actually felt like PSG a little bit. It was weird. Like you're getting into the box. You're not only getting into the box, you're getting high turnovers. Like you're pressing so high and you're getting these high turnovers off of Galatasaray and their back line. They couldn't do anything with them, man. I mean, just really poor conversion, really bad clinicality, if you will, right? And it's unfortunate for Liverpool because Galatasaray overcame that, and then pretty much against the run of play, it felt like scored by Lamina off a cross, and yeah, from there it was just even then it wasn't even like Galatasaray necessarily dominated Liverpool. I don't think they necessarily dominated them, but Liverpool like were letting them in behind. Like it felt like I was blinking and Yilmaz was in behind or Noah Lang was dribbling through two or three players and Liverpool was having a hard time dealing with that. It was very weird. And then Osimhen today had a great game. He, oh my gosh, Van Dijk and Konate, boy, did they have some trouble with him, man. They had some crazy trouble with him. But yeah, Osimhen had a fantastic performance, had an assist as well. And I gotta hand it to Galatasaray. After those early, mishaps, especially they were having really a bad time playing out of the back. Their back line, Singo, Davison Sanchez, who I gave a lot of stick. I gotta admit, right? I was saying constantly, I'm not trusting Davison Sanchez in 2026. If you're trusting Davison Sanchez in 2026, you're wilding. But hey, what do I know, apparently? Because this guy had a monster performance today. Unfortunately for him, he got a yellow card. So, well, he can't prove me wrong any further this tie. And Galatasaray won't have him in the return leg as he'll be suspended of accumulation. But he had a wonderful, wonderful performance today. He was getting those first headers off of goal kicks a lot, which I thought was really influential as far as Galatasaray not getting overrun in midfield. Not to say the midfield was bad either, because guys like Sara, guys like Lamina, Torreira, Gundogan when he came on, did some awesome work in midfield, and really kept Galatasaray. Not only well they won the game, so I can't say they were in this game, but they kept Galatasaray, more than afloat, like strong, solid. You feel me? And um, you know, I I gotta hand it to Galatasaray. I really do because I thought Liverpool, you know, with all of their weapons, even though it's not been necessarily smooth sailing, right? Verts, Ekatike, Soboslai. I thought having all these guys, you're gonna be able to get a result at away. It's not gonna be the same result as they did in the league stage. But Galatasaray proved me wrong. Got another 1-0 win. Their goalie was absolutely massive today, and yeah, you just gotta tip your hat to Galatasaray. I still think, as far as predictions for the second leg, I think Liverpool still put Belta A in Anfield. I can't lie to you. I just don't see, especially seeing how Galatasaray performed against Juventus. And now you can argue, is Liverpool better than Juventus right now? Who knows? I mean, but the way Galatasaray performed away in Turin doesn't give me confidence for them to go to Anfield, right? It's arguably tougher, you know, and do enough to win the tie. Liverpool haven't been inspiring. They've looked sluggish. They've looked so meh, right? But they had a lot of opportunities this game. Actually, they really did. if Galatasaray gives those same chances away at Anfield, you probably don't win the tie, and I don't think you have the same result. I can't sit here and tell you I'm confident in Galatasaray qualifying, but you got to give credit where credit's due. They won. They won their home leg. That's what you got to do. I feel like 1-0 isn't enough, though. I just think Liverpool have more than enough quality to put 2 or 3 on you. They could have put 2 or 3 on you today. Galatasaray also could have put 2 or 3 up, to be honest. But I think there's a lack of chemistry with the Galatasaray front line because Osimhen will be in these positions and they're not finding him. And on the other hand, Osimhen will have, some decent, associative play, but it's not necessarily all the way right, like quite there. Like, you know, for example, he might hold the ball up, slide it to Lang, right? Lang's not necessarily going to finish it all the time, or he's not going to make the right decision, even if he gets the ball in a dangerous area. So it's a little bit weird like that, but we'll see what happens, man. You never know. Right off a corner, anything can happen. Penalties, red cards, all of that. Like, it's the second leg at Anfield. Last few years, second legs at Anfield have been kind of funny, right? Or not even second legs, just Liverpool at home in Europe at Anfield, right? Like, I remember, obviously, if you go way back a few years, Simeone, Atletico Madrid in 2020 season, and then I want to say Real Madrid in 2022 or 2023, right, when they won 5-2 in the round of 16, and that wasn't a great Liverpool season at all anyway. And then the next year, in the Europa League, Atalanta beat them 3-0. And then obviously last year with PSG, they lost 1-0 on the night and then lost the tie on pens. So, Liverpool's actually got to kind of do a little bit of repair, right? They got to build that back up. So we'll see. Maybe it starts with Galatasaray, but yeah, great win for Galatasaray today. You can't really knock them, and Liverpool got to kind of wake up, man. But I think they will. I really do think they will. At home, you'll do enough to get to the next round. I firmly believe Liverpool will be in the quarterfinals. Firmly. Let's get to the other matches today. If I had sound effects, I would put them there. Because my goodness, bro, they just finished the tie. Bayern finished the tie, man. I mean, this game was over. It was 3-0 in 25 minutes. A little personal note here. I had Diaz down on a parlay to score. Brother, everyone was eating except him. I'm very upset. But look, man, this Bayern team is incredible. I'm not even surprised. I'm really not. I knew they would finish the tie. I don't know if I was expecting 6, but I wouldn't be surprised, if it was a 4-0 going into this. And yeah, I mean, this team, best offensive team in the world right now. I think you can say that without a doubt. Barcelona has their moments, but this Bayern team scores at will. You can't defend them. It's unguardable. It's unguardable. Unguardable football. No, man. No. There's not much to get into, man. They just completely dominated this Atalanta team. It sucks a little bit for Atalanta, having that great comeback versus Dortmund, but the level's just too big. The gap is too big, man. They could easily go back to Germany and rotate here, and they don't even have to rotate because they got the league wrapped up. The DFB Pokals all the way in April, so now you're just chugging along, making sure your guys don't get hurt. Speaking of guys getting hurt, man, Alphonso Davies, my goodness, he was only on the field. Let's subtract this. What is that? 25 minutes or so. My gosh, I feel so bad for him. He just came back from injury. With the World Cup looming, that sucks. Sucks for Canada, especially for a Canadian football fan, right? And yeah, it sucks for him. I hope he gets back. Speedy recovery to him. But yeah, I mean, Bayern have wrapped his tie up. Just nothing to play for it, really. Like, it's so hard to do analysis on blowouts like this. Other than, yeah, Bayern are just better. It's that simple. Bayern better. That's all you can say. They're just that much better. Olise, Nabry, Diaz didn't score today, but he's there, right? Harry Kane, Musiala, even Kimmich and Limer are offensive threats on the trailing runs. Even Nakano had some spaces today to shoot. It was crazy. Like, this team is just offensive threat all over the pitch, man. All over the pitch. It's incredible. It really is. And they're a deep team. And not only they're a deep team, but now that they've wrapped everything up, there's a lot of talk about Arsenal having the quadruple. Obviously Arsenal are what, six something games away from, I didn't want to say 6-7, but they're like about that much, away from winning the Premier League, right? And maybe like 6 games, right, from winning the UCL, and obviously they're in a cup final. They got a good FA Cup draw, I think, against Southampton. So like everything's cooking up for Arsenal, but people aren't talking about Bayern. They're gonna win their league. They're most likely gonna win their cup. They've won their Super Cup, right? And they're probably gonna make the UCL final. You look at that whole side of the bracket. There's maybe 2 teams that could give them a game, right? And it depends if those 2 teams even get through, right? You'd expect City to get through, and then, as a matter of fact, let's put the bracket up, by the way. And then, if PSG get through, if right, because Chelsea is a tough matchup for PSG, but I don't trust Chelsea nor Liverpool versus this Bayern team, right? We already saw how Bayern tore Chelsea up, but if PSG get through, even then it's going to be a tough game because it's 2 ties, and PSG historically Bayern's their worst opponent, but on the other side Bayern also struggle against PSG a little bit too. So, um, but either way, I think this team is the finalist. I really do, minimum finalist. And yeah, this is good. Could be a historic season. For them, they already won a sextuple 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So to do it that much, and so close, that's very, very rare. I don't think it's been done before, actually. Well, actually, the Barcelona teams, that was 2009 and 2015, so I guess you could say that. But yeah, incredible, incredible stuff from Bayern, man. And yeah, they basically wrap up the tie in one match. And speaking about wrapping up the tie, my goodness, man. Whatever predictions you had, you could not have predicted what Kinski was going to do to Tottenham today. You can even say to Spurs, because I mean, maybe he was playing for Spurs today, and it's crazy because he played 17 minutes, right? You play 17 minutes, you give up 2 free goals to the other team, and then your your defender, your best defender, slips and gives up another free goal, all within 15 minutes. I have so many questions. Hey, why is he starting anyway? Vicario might not have been good, but I don't recall Kinski being, the second coming of Czech, or like, you know what I mean? Like, what made him that good to start over Vicario again in a UCL knockout tie? If you want to make a statement substitution, a statement, with dropping a respected or established player, I get that. As a coach, sometimes you got to do that, shake things up, and make sure players don't get too comfortable. Do what you got to do, right? But no, man, this is rough. And then what I hate more is the fact that, okay, you're going to put that player up, right? You're going to put Kinski in there. He gives up 3 goals, granted. So it's like, all right, I understand you had to take him off, but I think maybe you just leave him in there since that was your choice. At least be stubborn about it. But to be fair, the card he was dealt was tough for Igor Tudor, right? And it's like, you trusted this keeper, you benched your starting keeper for him, and then you go down 3 goals in 15 minutes. I mean, that's, what do? You're looking at an all-time ugly score maybe if you don't take him off. So I don't know. It's tough, man, but it just describes Spurs, man, just a total mess. And yeah, this tie was done in 15 minutes, genuinely, because I turned off the game after it went to 4-0. I was like, okay, I don't need to watch this game anymore, right? And I think No, I can't even say there's a chance, right? They got some goals back for if you're Spurs, right? You brought it to back to within three, but those three goals are gonna be the absolute death of you for sure. Even if somehow win 2-0, you'll be like, man, if only we didn't give up that goal. Like I just don't see it. And I don't even think they'll win 2-0 next week, right? I just think they're just that bad of a team compared to Madrid, Atletico Madrid. And yeah, if you're Atleti, maybe the one negative is you gave up two goals, but it is what it is, man. This tie's over too. I don't believe in Spurs to do anything except get relegated. The other teams have to be historically bad now. West Ham, Nottingham Forest, you guys got to be really bad if this Spurs side doesn't get relegated. Because my goodness, they do not deserve to be here right now. They won their game, so I guess yeah, sportingly they deserve to be here. But no, no, man, this team, my goodness, I would, I almost would rather have this Spurs side be substituted with a team like outside of the top 24. Because my gosh, how poor, man, how poor. Good for Atleti get a win. Um, that I expect them fully to be in the next round too, and they'll give whoever wins between Newcastle and Barcelona a big run for their money. But yeah, man, Spurs, no shot next week. Atletico have this in the bag. It's funny because Atletico kind of have like a Spanish Spurs vibe. A lot of people say, got like teams like Atletico and Spurs and Dortmund and Marseille, like these are all the European counterparts of one another. And I understand that. Relative to just how they rarely win league titles or never if you're Spurs, right? And they're always bottling or choking, and yeah, so I get it, but either way, Atleti's not gonna choke this. There's no shot. I also think they're just a better team, better organized, better coached, all these things, man. No chance, no chance, no chance. All right, let's get to the last fixture of the day. Actually, Newcastle Barcelona, man, 1-1, and my goodness, did Barcelona get away with one? My gosh, man, Newcastle, you have no one to blame but yourselves. Newcastle beat themselves today. Lamine Yamal was poor. Lamine Yamal was absolute stinker. Pedri, absolute stinker. Right? Rafinha, stinker. Fermin Lopez. All of Barca was extremely poor today. Newcastle, you could say, was damn near perfect. And for 85 minutes, the game was 0-0. And maybe you're like, okay, so what? Barcelona still look bad. Here's the thing, man. If Barcelona was that bad and you still couldn't beat them, that's an issue. That's an issue. That shows you the gap, right? The gap between the two teams. That Barcelona was at their lowest, Newcastle was at their highest, and they're still sharing the points. Like, that's not good. Newcastle definitely deserved to get the win here today, but unfortunately for them, Malik Cha makes a bad mistake and gives away the pen. Lamine Yamal steps up, the young king himself, and puts that thing away, man. Saves Barcelona. Look, I don't know if Barcelona. Before I even get to that, I think when you look at this game, I think Newcastle was a very good style matchup. Like Barcelona played to Newcastle's strengths, right? They're pressing in, they're pressing in high. They're leaving in space and behind. I was saying it before in prior videos. Alanga is going to exploit that space, and he was giving Cancelo a very tough time today, and Martin and the entire Barca back line, right? All that speed, but for all of that, Newcastle cannot finish, man. And you have to convert your chances in European competitions if you want to win. It's that simple. And, there was multiple opportunities, multiple, just not even actual like shots. Like Newcastle would get in behind, but like they just couldn't get the right pass over, or I remember Alonga got in behind and he made a pretty like mid pass inside the box that the goalkeeper claimed, and it's just like if you make a better pass there, that's going to be an easy goal, right? And these kind of things that elite teams do consistently that Newcastle isn't doing, right? And that's why they're not scoring all these goals and they're not beating Barcelona when they should, right? They're leaving you so much space. You should be beating Barcelona. You really should, but you're just not getting the enough, enough clinicalness out of your clinicality out of your chances that you're getting, right? And it sucks for them. But yeah, I think Barcelona next week, they got to prepare differently, man, because it felt like it's funny that like the ratings really baffle me because I think Pedri was completely erased from the game. I really feel like Pedri did not have a great game today, and he maybe the standards are high, sure, but like he Newcastle neutralized them. They really did. They neutralized them. Barcelona was like I don't want to say Barcelona didn't create at all, but Barcelona was having a hard time creating. Really, it was really hard time, right? And Newcastle had him. Eddie Howe like had him set up perfectly. Like all of this stuff worked in Newcastle's favor. Everything was going for Newcastle, but they couldn't put the ball in the back of the net enough. And then once you do, and to make a mistake like that from Chow, and he's been making those mistakes at Milan, but he got to Newcastle, and I think when you're a young defender in the Italian league and then you make the move to the Prem, you actually maybe see the game a little bit better because of how tactical it is in Serie A. But that's just such a bad mistake, and I think they're really going to regret that. With that being said, I still think Newcastle have a chance. They have a chance, man. You can go to Camp Nou. I think you can get a goal. It's going to be down, to guys finishing, but anything's possible, man. And you just the way that they're just, I don't want to say they're completely antithetical to Barcelona because I think that does a disservice to Barcelona, right? They're still athletic, they're still strong players, but Newcastle's just so rough and tumble, right? They're just so, all in your face and solid, you know what I mean, and tall, right? And that's tough to play against as a techie team, right? That as an agile team, and yeah, I think for Barcelona to win next week, it's not going to take that much because I still think we saw Newcastle's best level today. But to throw your best punch and still get it and only get a draw sucks. But yeah, I think if Barcelona like Lamine Yamal shows up and Rafinha shows up, right? Fermin Lopez shows up, like that should be a 2 or 3-1 win for Barcelona. It really should. But it just depends, Newcastle have the tools to not only make it tough but to get out of there. They could take it to penalties. That'll be interesting. I don't know though, but I don't know if I trust Ramsdale over Juan Garcia, right? So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, but yeah, when you're talking about this game today, Newcastle absolutely deserve the win, but they beat themselves. They beat themselves. Like, you can talk about Barcelona being bad today, and that's totally valid. But you still have to go and win the game, right? Like as a team, you have to go and win. Right? You can be better than the other team, but you still have to win. You have to put the ball in the back of the net. And Newcastle had all these opportunities, and they just kept skying the ball. They're kicking it wide, getting blocked shots all the time. You got to put the ball in the back of the net, man. Football is very, very unforgiving, and you know what they say, football 101, man. If you don't convert the chances will convert you. Okay, I don't know if they say it like that, but you know what I'm saying, all right? And Newcastle, they just didn't do it enough, I think. And yeah, it sucks. It really sucks for them. But yeah, let's take a quick look to tomorrow. I say I might as well predict tomorrow's games because I didn't get to predict all of them before. But yeah, let's why not? Arsenal Leverkusen. Give me Arsenal. Sporting Bodo. I think Bodo will win at home, but I think ultimately they'll lose the tie overall. But give me a 1-0 Bodo over Sporting. Arsenal Leverkusen. Give me like 2-0 Arsenal. Maybe. Because Arsenal don't be scoring like that, but Leverkusen probably can't defend those corners. So Yeah, PSG Chelsea. Give me Chelsea 3-1. I don't think people are ready for how bad it's about to be. I don't think people are ready. Chelsea are about to destroy us tomorrow. It's about to be absolutely smoke. Smoke. Oh my god. And then Real Madrid City. Give me City 1-0 over Real Madrid. It'll be a close game, even though Madrid are significantly a worse team. It's still the Bernabeu. They're still gonna, have. I think they have Mendy back, and they're still gonna have Chouameni, and they're gonna try and set up, tight. I think play counterattacking football. But I think give me City. So City 1-0 over Real Madrid tomorrow. And yeah, we'll get to the second legs this weekend. But yeah, man, what a day of footy, man. It sucks a little bit with these results because now next week, Wednesday, two ties are basically done, right? You know, I don't think Spurs are gonna come back down three, and Atalanta surely is not coming back. So that's rough. I think Liverpool and Barcelona and Newcastle will be those ties to look forward to. I wonder if Barca and Newcastle is going to be at 145. That's great. So you can actually watch each of them separately, which is incredible. But yeah, it sucks with these scheduling because now these are both on the same at the same time. That's rough, but I get it. These are prime time fixtures right here, man. You cannot be playing these at 145. But I would like a stagger. I think they should explore like staggering that a little bit, right? Like if you're gonna start one game at 345 or something, like like just a little bit, just a little bit. You feel me? Anyway, that's it from me, man. What a day of UCL footy. I'll be with you guys this weekend. Matter of fact, let's check out what's going on this weekend. Obviously I know PSG don't play. A lot of people are telling me about that on Twitter, man. It's like whatever, bro. I'm not here to yap about it, but it's like your league, your rules. You feel me? Be mad at your league. But anyway, Arsenal, Everton, Chelsea, Newcastle. That'll be nice. City have West Ham. West Ham obviously in relegation, so we'll see how that goes. But and otherwise, I think United and Aston Villa and Liverpool Spurs. Wow, that's so tough because they both lost. But that'll be big for Anfield to get that going, right? Get that momentum going before hosting Galatasaray. United and Villa. Villa obviously kind of slipping right now, so they definitely need to lock in. And United third place, just rising and rising in form. So yeah. I realized you guys couldn't see this. I'm just scrolling on the Fat Mob right here. You're not missing much, but yeah. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy Ollie Footy. Until next time, we out.